Welcome back to Season 2 of Wellness Matters. I am your host, Chris Bowe, and today we're going deeper. See, Episode 1 was about recognizing that you're stuck. This episode is about understanding why you're so darn tired. Because most men I meet, they're not lazy, they're not weak, they're not undisciplined. They're just carrying more than anyone sees. You probably know what I'm talking about. So today's episode is called The Unspoken Weight, What Men Carry, and Why It's Making Us Sick. So let's talk about this. You might not even realize it, but you are walking around with a full backpack strapped to your shoulders in a metaphorical sense. And what I mean is you're providing for your family, you're showing up at work, you're managing the finances, you're trying to be strong for your wife and kids. You know, you're holding in frustration and burying regret, and you're stuffing down disappointment and you're avoiding vulnerability. And every day it adds up piece by piece. And because we don't talk about it, we just learn to carry it. Our backpacks get full. But eventually, that weight starts to crush us. The thing is, too, though, it's not all at once. It's generally a slow process. It shows up as like fatigue, digestive issues, low sex drive, brain fog, even short temper and withdrawn energy. That's right. The weight we carry, it's not just emotional. It actually becomes physical. And the thing about it is no one around you sees it. And the reason why they don't see it is because you're still clocking in, you're still showing up, and you're still smiling at the right times. Putting on a front. And then deep down, you're exhausted. I know, I get it. See, I remember a season of my life, I had a lot going on, and I was trying to come across as the person that had it all together. You know, I was working for a company, doing quite well in a manager position, but I had some other things going on in my life. Like I was in a bad marriage that just was not healthy. It was very toxic. But I tried to act like I had it all together. I tried to be everything I could to be for everyone. You know, I tried to stay in shape, and I tried to pretend like everything was good. Like my life was good. But the thing is I wasn't fine at all. No, it's like I was emotionally raw, like spiritually flatlined, like steady beat across the board. My sleep sucked. My energy was shot. I was barely holding it together. And I really didn't hold it together, truthfully. But I didn't know how to say I needed help. Because men like us, we don't ask for help, right? We can handle it. We got it. Well, then my body made the decision for me. I hit a wall. Like, I started feeling sick. Like, not just physically, but emotionally. I shut down. I relapsed into drinking because I thought that would numb everything, like trying to find that escape. And then I realized, later looking back on it, that what was making me sick, it wasn't the outside pressures of life. It wasn't the things I was involved with. It was everything I refused to release. That was the moment I started to heal, is when I realized that. Hey, fellas. If you're someone who's ever felt like life knocked you down, like you're stuck in the same ditch over and over again, this one's for you. My book, Ditches Don't Build Dreams, it's more than a story. It's a raw, real journey from self-destruction to restoration, through faith, grit, and surrender. I wrote it for the guy who knows he was made for more, but just needs a spark to believe that again. If you're ready to rise, rebuild, and finally start moving toward purpose, this book could be your first step. So grab your copy today on Amazon. Just search Ditches Don't Build Dreams by Chris Bowe. And let's dig out of that ditch and start building something real. I want to get real scientific for a second because we need to understand this. I talked about this a little bit earlier about different things that we experience because of this stuffing these emotions and just not dealing with it. See, when you live in a state of unprocessed stress, or what you can also call it emotional suppression, your body goes into this fight or flight mode constantly. And you might think that you're calm, but under the surface, your nervous system, it's working over time. And the causes is, this causes elevated cortisol levels. It causes inflammation. It causes hormonal imbalance, gut dysfunction, and definitely poor sleep quality. Basically, your body's trying to survive a war that you've never declared, all because your emotions haven't been given a voice. It's super interesting of how this can affect us physically. See, unspoken weight becomes chronic stress, and then that chronic stress is what becomes this dysfunction. And no amount of protein shakes or deadlifts, as much as we might think as men, none of that can override a nervous system that's living in shutdown. This has to be dealt with on an internal level. The thing is, and I understand this, we're conditioned to be the rock. That falls on our lap as men. We're supposed to be the safe place. We're supposed to be the steady hand. But see, here's the problem though. Even rocks crack under pressure. There's nothing noble. And I gotta reiterate this, man. There's nothing noble about hiding your pain so well that you forget it's there. And no one benefits from a man who's slowly collapsing on the inside. Not your family. Nobody. See, your family doesn't want the version of you that survives. They don't. I'm going to be real with you and tell you right now. They want the version that's alive. And that doesn't mean you fall apart. It doesn't mean that you start acknowledging, or it doesn't mean that you crumble into 1,000 pieces and lose it. No, it means that you start acknowledging the truth. That's what it means. It means you just got to realize that you're carrying too much. And it's time to start offloading that weight. Here's how to start letting go of what you've been silently carrying. We're going to get into some tangible steps here. Okay. First off, move your body to process, not punish. And what I mean is, like, exercise isn't just about muscle. It's about moving stress through your system. Sweat, believe it or not, sweat is therapy. It helps. And then another way to offload and stop carrying this stuff silently is journal your triggers. Ask yourself, what triggered me today? What instance set me off? What circumstance did I go through that changed my emotions and changed my mood? And then in that, you think about it, like, what did I stuff down instead of process? Did I just discount the situation and go about my business and try to act like it didn't happen? You got to figure out what that is, and you got to put it on paper. You got to pull it out of your body, in a sense. And then another thing you can do is breathe with intention. And this one, and I know it probably sounds hokey. It sounded hokey to me when I was first introduced to this, but it's true. Like, breathe with intention. There's the thing called box breathing. I've talked about it in previous episodes. You breathe for so long, hold it, release it for so long, hold it, breathe for so long, hold it. But then there's other things too you can do outside of that, like cold plunges, grounding walks. If you're not sure what grounding walks is, that's like getting out on the grass, the dirt, barefoot, and just walking. Get that connection with the earth through your feet. I know another thing that, as men, we're like, I don't know, that sounds kind of weird, but no, it's true. there is something behind it. You can look into it. I'm not going to dive deep into it right now, but if you're interested in learning more about grounding, it's got a lot of benefits. It really does. But basically, what we're doing with these instances is we're getting out of our head and getting into something else outside of ourselves. Our breath, the cold plunges, the grounding, just finding a release. And that's what that's about, is just release. Okay. Because we're so apt to always keep everything inside, we never go for the release. Okay. And then also what you need to do is you need to find one safe outlet. And this is something in a minute I'll tell you about, but this is something I can help you with. But what I'm getting at is you need an outlet. You need a friend. You need a mentor, a therapist, someone who doesn't or won't flinch when you drop the mic. Drop the mic. Yeah, drop the mic. There you go. Story told. No, when you drop the mask. When you're letting somebody else see you for who you are, seeing the raw you. And this is where a coach comes in. Listen, if you've been running on fumes, stressed, stuck, and feeling like you're just surviving instead of thriving, then I want to personally invite you into something powerful. It's called Resilient Wellness Coaching. It's my 12-week coaching program designed specifically for men like you who are ready to rebuild from the inside out. You'll get access to my full course, Resilient Wellness Blueprint, covering mindset, identity, physical and emotional resilience, and long-term wellness. Plus, every week we meet for a guided one-on-one coaching session where I help you integrate what you're learning into real, lasting change. No fluff, no surface level talk, just straight transformational tools and brotherhood. Now, if you're ready to take back your clarity, energy, and mission, please email me directly at resilientwellnesscoach@gmail.com and just write "I'm ready" in the subject line. If you're not quite ready for the full coaching, you can also go to chrisbow.org, and there you will find the Resilient Wellness Blueprint course by itself. You can try that as well. But either way, let's rebuild together. So next is say what you're actually feeling. I mean, it sounds simple, and it is simple. But yet, for some reason, we make it so complicated. Say what you're actually feeling, like out loud. And even if it's just to yourself at first. But, like, I feel pressure. Or I feel resentment. I feel overwhelmed. Talk about it. Get it out. Name it. Naming it disarms it. And please know this. This is not weakness. As men, we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to shove these things down. We're weak if we talk about these things. Get that out of your mind. Those times are over because they don't work. That's why we had such a decline in our culture of men not being present for their marriages, men not being present for their children, divorce rates skyrocketing. Like, there's been a huge issue because of this. And so now we have to battle this. We have to combat it. We have to come back at it and say, no, we're going to deal with it. And it's not weak to do that. This is how we stay strong without breaking. Guaranteed. I want to challenge you. I always want to challenge you because if we can hear about this stuff all the time, but unless we do something with it or about it, it doesn't it doesn't have any change. So here's the challenge this week. I want you to name one thing that you've been silently carrying and release it. Get rid of that thing. And if you can't do it at first, just write it out, move your body, cry if you need to by yourself. Or if you're ready to, and I think there's a lot of power in this, I know there's a lot of power in this, tell someone. But stop. The thing is, just stop pretending it's not there. You got to stop pretending it's not there. And then I want you to pick one daily release habit and commit to that for 7 days. You can keep pushing through and hope it gets better. Or you can offload the weight and finally breathe again. It's your choice. You have that choice. This is completely up to you, but I can encourage you and I can give you the tools to do that if you just try to do that. And I know I don't like the word try. Either you do or you don't. But we all start somewhere. I do want to see you implement these things. I do want to see you become a better version of yourself because you can. If I can, I know you can for sure. Because, and another thing too, it's very important to get to the point, to the step that you are talking with somebody else, whether it's a friend, a mentor, a coach. Again, I'll say that, coach. Because you're not built to carry this world alone. No. But the thing is, though, is you were built to lead yourself out of this. And if you have the right tools, then you can do that. All right, gentlemen. I want you to tag me at Chris_Bo_knows. That's my Instagram handle. And I want you to tag me there with what you're releasing this week. And then let's move from heavy to free. Okay? This is Wellness Matters Season 2. Let's keep building, man. Let's reach for that future.